It's now 2022 and the entertainment industry's already going through some big shakeups. Apparently, companies are sick and tired of losing money, and the higher ups at a company that I've talked about a lot, the CW, are as well now because apparently it is up for sale since it's losing tons of money. A lot of the CW shows are known for virtue signaling. It's led to viewership tanking, and apparently it's blown up in their faces. I have a few things to show off, but before we get into the topic at hand, if you enjoy the content that I create, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. Follow me on social media like Twitter or mine so that you can see when my content is posted. And of course, if you do really enjoy the videos and the live streams that I create, please consider becoming a Dark Titan via Patreon for just $1 a month or supporting via YouTube memberships. All of the links are in the description, and of course, I do really appreciate all of the support. So, let's start with this Bounding Into Comics article. It says, after embracing wokeness and seeing their ratings plummet across nearly all shows, the CW is for sale. The CW, the television network jointly owned by Viacom, CBS, and Warner Media, is up for sale following the network's embrace of wokeness and nearly all of their shows' ratings and viewership plummeting. It's not just wokeness that ruined all of the CW's content, don't get me wrong, it's a major factor, but there's also things like the CGI and the acting not being great. Clearly they don't have a budget to bring in big names, and they don't have a budget to up things like the CGI and the sets the shows are on, but clearly all of these things together have made it so the content is really, really mediocre, and there's a lot of reasons why the network shows have failed. It says it was first reported by the Wall Street Journal that both Viacom, CBS, and Warner Media were exploring the option of selling the network. Joe Flint detailed that AT&T's Warner Media and Viacom CBS Incorporated are exploring a possible sale of a significant stake or all of the CW network, which they jointly own, according to people familiar with the matter, but I truly do not know who in their right mind would want to purchase the CW because apparently, according to the initial article, the CW hasn't been profitable since 2006. At the beginning of the Arrowverse, I really liked the content they were creating. The first few seasons of The Arrow and The Flash were really good. The first season of Legends of Tomorrow was decent, but now we get shows like Batwoman, which have been terrible from the start, and at this point, there's no way to save the shows that were good at one point. And the CW has more than just the Arrowverse. They have Walker, they have Supernatural, they have Riverdale, which are popular series, don't get me wrong, but they're admitting that apparently the CW hasn't been profitable since 2006, and usually companies don't like to lose money. You'd think that after one or two bad seasons of shows and drops in viewership, they'd try to go back to their roots and make content that people really, really like. They'd look at things like The Arrow and The Flash and they'd see what did people like from those first few seasons so we can start replicating that again. But they haven't even tried over the years. They've been creating absolute garbage with things like the Arrowverse, which is what I'm really interested in from the CW. And I'm gonna be honest, once it's sold, we'll probably see a ton of shows canceled that have lost them crazy amounts of money like Batwoman. Maybe the new Powerpuff Girls series will be outright canceled, which I'm gonna be honest, I don't think is gonna get viewership either. In the memo he wrote, I am sure you have seen the recent speculation in the press around the CW, so I wanted to take the opportunity to address this with you directly and share with you what we know. First, as many of you are aware, over the past year or so, this transformative time in our industry has led to a series of business activity across media and content companies, and given that environment right now, Viacom, CBS, and Warner Brothers are exploring strategic opportunities to optimize the value of their joint venture in the CW network. I'd honestly start with creating good content, but it says it's too early to speculate what might happen, but we promise to keep you updated as we learn more. So what does that mean for us right now? It means we must continue to do what we do best, make the CW as successful and vibrant as we always have done. I'm gonna be honest, the CW hasn't been very vibrant in a long time, but it apparently wasn't ever successful since it hasn't made the money since 2006. But here are just some of the viewership numbers for the CW shows. Here is the CW scripted TV shows 2021 to 22 list. Walker was number 1, but year to year change, viewership went down by 38%. The Flash went down by 17%. All American, 18% down. These numbers are not good because we're not talking about 3 million viewers or 4 million viewers. We're looking at under 1 million viewers for each of these shows. Batwoman was number 5. It lost 32% of viewers year to year. And number 10 is actually Riverdale. And Riverdale apparently started off as a very successful series. I know that they've talked a lot about it. They've marketed it a lot. But apparently viewers aren't even staying around for that show. Scrolling down, though, here are some of the shows from 2020 to 2021. Walker was doing pretty decent, and it didn't have that high over 1 million viewers, 1.3 million viewers, but second was Supernatural, and that was the final season. Supernatural started off really well, and unfortunately, again, as the seasons went on, the content got kind of watered down and stale. Superman and Lois was also pretty good, but the viewership for that was also mediocre. All of the CW shows have had really mediocre viewership, and a lot of their shows couldn't even pass the 500,000 viewership mark. A big reason why the CW has failed is truly and genuinely wokeness. All of Hollywood has been focused on putting messaging over making money, and you'd think they'd see that they're losing viewers and they change the content being created, but they've doubled and tripled down on it, and it ends up like this. Having a network that hasn't been profitable in years, and the shows have abysmal ratings, and they 100% deserve it. Any of the shows that were good were completely ruined as the years went on. And unfortunately, at this point, a lot of people don't even care what happens to the CW. A lot of people could care less if it becomes successful, if they start making good stories. A lot of people do not care about the network anymore. But I wanted to go to the tweet made by Discussing Films where people are talking about their opinions on the CW potentially being sold. People are saying things like, "I wonder why." And they show a clip from The Flash and the awful CGI. Now, I understand shows only have so much when it comes to budget. I do completely understand that. But it's like they put no budget into the CGI, and the CGI was pretty decent at the beginning of the Flash, also Arrow, Legends of Tomorrow, all of these shows. Just awful quality. Someone said, "You mean to tell me that a channel that has shows with boring, similar, lazy, predictable plots, a combined budget of $20 for the special effects and dialogue that sound like it was written on 2013 Tumblr isn't profitable?" And it's so true, because it's just the writing's bad, the CGI's bad, the scripts are bad, the overall stories are bad. Nothing is positive about the CW's content anymore. People are commenting things like maybe because all the shows look like they were given a $5.25 budget. Again, the shows, they started off pretty well, but as the years have gone on, expectations for series have obviously risen. People want higher budgets for shows, better looking CGI, better stories, and unfortunately, they haven't been able to keep up at all with industry standards. We'll have to see who purchases the CW, if anyone is going to purchase the CW, but I'm sure someone will. I'm sure a company like Disney will come along. They have Star Wars, they have Marvel. Why not pick up the CW as well? But only time will tell. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed it, please make sure to give it a like, share it, and subscribe to the channel. And of course, if you didn't, make sure to give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I will talk to you all again in the next video really soon.